Please join us in welcoming Aaron Teague for his talk on music and imagery for renewal and rejuvenation.
Hello. Hello to whoever may be listening. I'm wearing a microphone, so undoubtedly someone in internet land may be chiming in, but we don't know. So my name is Aaron Teague. I am a music therapist and counselor. I was sharing at our meal. I have a practice called Music Journey, Music Therapy Services, and I have some brochures and some business cards. If you want to take one of those, you're welcome to do that. And so this evening, I want to share some a specific music therapy. Someone asked about music therapy, but a specific music therapy practice called the Bonny method of guided imagery music, and kind of a modification for such a large, wonderful group as this. There
you go.
That's okay. Thanks.
I know I have all your votes, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I'll be upstairs eavesdropping. Have fun.
So yeah. So that's kind of where we're going. We're going to play with some music. We're going to listen. We may. I'm going to invite you to do a little doodling as we reflect on our listening experience and see what happens. I would like to start. We were talking about Gregorian chant and Buddhist practice and all kinds of spiritual leanings at our meal. So I want to start with a little, I don't know, symbolic kind of beginning. So I like to use this little bell, little bowl, as a way to kind of bring us all together. Listen, listen. The sound of this bell brings us back to our true home. Do you want some water? There you go. Sure. This is not a very warm room. I may go get my coat. I don't know where my coat is. Kirsten took it. Anyway, so a little bit about. Do you know where my coat is? It's green. But that would be a surprise if they painted it while I was here.
That's what makes my toes
Yes, it was. If she's truly listening. I don't know who. Hello. Does anyone know how to adjust the temperature in the big room? Oh, hark.
You need your coat.
Well, do you know how to change the temperature in the room?
I can only switch it to be warm And it might work.
Ju-
Try by a computer that's locked.
Oh, well, that's it. Thank you. We were imagining if it was a little warmer, we might.
No, I like it cool. So I put it over to warm, so it should warm up a little bit. It was in the middle of cold and warm.
Okay.
Could we turn the fan down somehow? Because
I can't do that. It's on a computer that I don't know the password to.
Thank you.
No problem.
Um,
The right coat.
Oh yes, that is the coat. I will put this on for a moment. No. Well, it is and it isn't, right? It's not on in here. We're going to play the music through the speakers here. So they didn't give me a microphone. The microphone is for our guests, our club members somewhere else. Right. So you can, I guess if you couldn't come to this one time and you had a computer, you could listen in. They're streaming this now. Yeah, I think they're excited about this technology. We could. Do you want to say hi? We don't actually, I don't know. I think, was it Ben? I think he said there were maybe two people that he thought might be listening. So a little bit about me. I'm a music therapist. I've been a music therapist for I work as a music therapist. I'm a human. So I worked as a music therapist since about 2001 in different kinds of places. A lot of experience with people with different kinds of mental health problems, from depression to schizophrenia to bipolar disorder and substance abuse and whatnot. More recently, my music therapy, some of my work, my part-time work, has taken me into palliative care. So I work as a strange contracting position in UPMC's palliative care service in several of the hospitals. Shadyside, Presby, Montefiore, McGee. And that's been really, really wonderful work. Very intimate, very powerful work. So in that sense, that's a little different, but it's the same thing. So the idea of music therapy, I think in general, is that this music therapist is going to help a person through and with music. So from listening to creating to responding to music in different ways. And so that's kind of the simple version. I have a bachelor's degree in music therapy. I have a master's degree in counseling and expressive arts therapy. I love to mix things up. So music is my first love, but then I also like poetry and I like art. And so we're going to play with some words and play with a little doodling, maybe, if you want, in a little bit. So this specific music therapy thing I want to talk a little bit about, and then I want us to get into this thing. So this the story goes, there was a woman named Helen Bonny. She was a music therapist. She passed away in 2009. She was also a violin player. She had a very powerful, what she called a conversion experience, a very spiritual experience, playing the violin at a Christian kind of retreat. And through that, and I think she was in her 30s or 40s. She had a family. Her husband was a minister, and but she was like, "Wow, if music can do this, then I need to figure out how to do this. How do you do this professionally? Because I want to give back to somehow." And so she searched around, and she ended up training as a music therapist at the University of Kansas. And one of her jobs years later was in a place called the Maryland Psychiatric Center. They did a lot of research, And it was in the late 60s and the early 70s when they were researching with psychedelic drugs, medications for different kinds of use, both for addictions, for cancer care, lots of different things. And then I think sometime in the mid 70s, the federal government decided not to pay for that anymore. So Helen was charged with kind of creating these soundtracks that would help people that were taking these really serious medications to kind of make it a little easier, to kind of guide them along in this process. And being a classically trained violinist, she was really familiar with Brahms and Beethoven and Mozart and Copland and Bartok and these European and American composers, I guess, primarily. And so she really honed down this process of putting together a play, what we would call nowadays, we would call a playlist, but she would sequence particular pieces of music or snippets of the music in a way to kind of it almost like the music kind of, we talk about it as the music is kind of your guide. Music's kind of your tour guide through this kind of inner experience. And so we do that. So Helen developed a number of these, what she used to call tapes. She initially had them on cassette tapes, right? And now, then we went into CDs, and now I have a MP3 player, right? So I put my music on that now. But typically we use very specific kinds of music. It's expanded from the classical music. Some people use a lot of other kinds of music on top of some movie music has been introduced in this process. So that's kind of the history. And then it's gone on and on and on. Helen, being a music therapist, wanted to share this with music therapists. It didn't always happen. So there are people that are social workers and psychologists and counselors and whatnot that also do this kind of music work too. So the form is typically a person would come in, and it's an individual kind of therapy or a help process. And a person would come in and we would have a conversation about what's going on, their goals, their hopes, their dreams, their worries. And then we would kind of decide on some music. You know, is this tough music? Is this easy music? You know, do you need support? Do you need a little push? You know, those kinds of things. We have that kind of conversation, and that would kind of steer me into picking some music to listen to. And then in this format, we would listen together, and after we do kind of a relaxation process. So tonight we may not do a long, lengthy one. Sometimes we do 10 minutes or more to help a person kind of really let go of at least some of the physical and the mental kind of chatter that we carry around. And we know that if you do that, you kind of loosen yourself up and you're a little more receptive to the guidance of this music that we're going to listen to. Then as we listen to the music, my job as the therapist or the helper is to kind of help the person kind of stay focused on whatever pops up. So some people will have magnificent visions or sensations, like pictures, color or dreamlike images. Has anyone ever done any mental imagery work? Visualization, they call it sometimes. Yeah. So this, what now?
With or without drugs?
Well, I didn't even qualify it that way. It could be both. So please, yeah, you can throw any kind of questions or jokes at me. I love them. So yeah, in many ways, this is combining visualization or imagery work with music. So we have this process, and in the individual process, I invite the person to tell me what's going on while they're listening. So it becomes kind of a discussion back and forth. And they might say, oh, I've come to this big giant gate. I don't know what this gate is. And I might ask, what color is it? How big is it? Does it have a handle? Does it have a bell? Is there a guard dog? What do you notice about this experience? And then my work in that listening process is to help the person kind of stay focused and pay attention to the details. In this kind of group, I won't be talking much. I'll kind of let you have your own experience, and then we'll get to talk a little bit afterwards if you want to share. Then, Richard. In some ways it can be. Because what happens when you get really kind of relaxed and you're focused, the music becomes really prominent. So it's almost like an awareness meditation practice where you're really focusing your mind on that. And sometimes as the helper, I might even, because I know a lot of this music really, really well, I might know something really interesting's happening in the music soon. And it may be, as this person's telling me their story, I might say, oh, wow, could you let this music kind of help you out? And then there might be a flourish in the woodwinds, or there might be a big boom in the whatever. And that may or may not kind of give their story that their inner self, their imagination is kind of concocting. So we try to work with the music as much as we can. Then after that, we typically will talk about the music and the listening. Sometimes people like to draw. They don't want to talk very quickly after because it can be really intense. It can be quite emotional if you meet a lost loved one in this imagery experience, or I don't know, any number of things could happen. Yeah, I feel like we should listen to music, unless there are any questions. You have any questions? Well, you can. Most people do. Most people do. I have some people that I've helped that they have hard time closing their eyes, so I'll loan them. I have some little eye shade things. So some people will do that. I probably should have asked how to dim the lights, but we'll figure that out. So typically I would dim the lights. We do that. And do that. You don't have to. I'll find it. You can just enjoy the time. So are there other questions? So yes, you can close your eyes. Oh, that's better anyway. Any other questions or thoughts? Okay. So if you want to get as comfortable as you can in these chairs, get yourself an extra pillow or a, yeah. Oh, there's one blanket. Are there any more blankets? You think there's some in one of these other rooms? I'll look. Okay, who needs a blanket? Yeah. Oh, that's more of a shawl. That's not really. Do you want this other little chunk? Oh, that's funny.
Thank you.
Right. Um, so we'll take it. We're going to listen to just a little bit of music. And I wanted to call my little talk, our sharing, I think I called it Music and Imagery for Rejuvenation and Relaxation or something like that, right? And so we're going to stick with some easygoing music this evening. But I would invite you to settle in, and if you want to close your eyes, you can. You don't have to. And take a few moments to maybe connect with what it feels like just to sit here with us today. You may notice the body kind of sinking into the chairs. You may notice the digestion in the stomach. Or this cool wind blowing by your face. Take some time to just really settle into this experience of being here with us right now. Finding some relaxation and some rejuvenation in the little music listening. And as this relaxation and rejuvenation kind of seeps into your body, take a moment to really appreciate this time, this place with this music today. Keepsake from this listening, knowing that this experience was yours. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and maybe rejoin us here today. With a group as diverse and unique as this, I can only imagine that there were some completely different things going on. Maybe even a little sleep. Would anybody be willing to tell us maybe something that they experienced during that little music?
One brave soul.
Oh,
I mean, I could hear it, but it was
too faint.
too low. I kept thinking I can't hear it.
Okay. I actually turned it up. Margaret, you may want to go sit right here next time. I'm sorry, but that might help. I don't know. Did you hear it? I should have sound tested. I didn't check it. Um, yeah. Did you? Huh. Oh, to be cushioned by a purple wave or something, huh? Cover, maybe a big purple blanket. What else?
Well, me, that the first time I see like in the background an old man playing the flute, and then as the songs start keep moving, and I hear like people thinking. But then later, it was the ballerina just dancing the way the music.
Yeah.
I just enjoy seeing the ballerina.
Oh, yeah.
Did you dance? Huh? Did you dance? No, I just see the enjoy it.
You watched. Wow. So that brings up a good point.
Jane. No, but he's talking to you.
Hey, Jane.
Jane.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I like Jane's idea. So we'll do this again in a few minutes. And so if you find this ballerina or this flute player that you want to say hi to or you want to move closer to, try it out. That's part of the enveloping quality of this kind of music and imagery work is that you can really interact with the image, and it actually we know it kind of gives more benefits in the long run. So
Because now you mentioned, I don't remember seeing face, I just see the legs, the way she was moving the face.
right. So that would be another piece, right? So if we listen again, you may want to kind of see if there's an image or a feeling or a color. You may want to see if you can grasp or understand more and more of it. So, I see these feet dancing, but who's dancing the feet? Yeah. See if just kind of inquire about that. Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Flowers and spring and just the setting of an outdoor wedding. And light music, you know, that's played before people arrive or as they arrive.
Mm-hmm.
I experienced it. The melody is like a hymn, and I imagined that it was the hymn of a country, like "Oh, beautiful for spacious skies" or something like that. It reminded me of that kind of music.
That music is Puccini. That's from the Madame Butterfly.
And she would take me in this room, dim the lights, and play music for me. And certain tunes she would say goodbye to like when I walked in, evidently I had his heart attack. Look on me. She would say,
Huh.
I was thinking how then she didn't say it was music therapy. So that was probably like 2007.
Bonnie Shields. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. I think a lot of people, like I have specific training in this method, right, in using music in this way, but a lot of us connect with music so deeply that I think people find ways to use music to help themselves out. It's a bad day or it's a hard, treatment's going not well and you feel miserable. People will find this thing, and music sometimes is as easy as pushing a button a lot of times nowadays. So, yeah, thanks for that story. Yeah, the butterfly thing is standing out. Who else wants to? Anybody else want to tell us something?
Well, I had something different.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see anything.
Okay. Yeah.
It's been a busy week. It was a busy weekend. Last weekend, family issues, problems, all that work today. And so I just kind of let it. Start to relax me. Just trying to get those issues and things out of my mind. So it's fine. But I didn't see anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
And that how I said this can be like visualization, and sometimes people don't necessarily see a picture. So different people will have imagery experiences in different ways. So you might have a body sensation. You might see a color. You might just have this sense of an emotion. It may just be one feeling that just sweeps you up, right? So it can be lots of different things. And so sometimes I know when I've been in places in this work myself, there have been times where everything's just like dark. Like I felt like it was in a black room, no lights on, and that's all that was there. And sometimes it felt like it was too darn long, but it would change. And so this is just a taste of the possibilities, and we've had such really rich, different options. So the other thing that I would do then, as the music therapist, the helper in this Bonny method kind of thing, after we listen, then I invite the person to kind of reflect on these things. So, what do you think about butterflies? And what do you think about these colors? What is purple? Are there connections to you in your day-to-day life? Or in your history, or in your current joys and struggles? And so we talk about that, and we kind of weave together some understanding as we reflect on these kinds of internal experiences. I've helped people with many different struggles, from different kinds of chronic illnesses to depression to grief, loss, um, different kinds of things that we have in life. And it can, sometimes the image that really, or maybe the series of images and the right music can kind of just surprise people. And it kind of shifts their life a little bit. So I really like to do this kind of work, and so I wanted to share. Any questions or wonderings about any of this stuff right now? Okay. So would you like to? Should we listen to a little more music? Yeah. So I actually was thinking that my title was not relaxation, but it was renewal and rejuvenation. Renewal. So whatever that's worth. Maybe we'll play with that word this time. Actually, I want to play with words as we go into some more listening. This is a little super book. It was out of print for a long time, but it's back in print. There's a lady named Ruth Gindler. She's a writer, artist, eclectic lady, and this is called The Book of Qualities. The book's probably 30 years old, but when it was published. But she takes these little, she calls them qualities, these things that we humans embody. So from love to joy to fear to anxiety, and she kind of personifies them. She makes them little poems. And I wanted to maybe play with. You have this book. Yeah. So I want to play with this as we start our next music. I need a word. So what I'm going to try is, as I start this next music, I'm going to read over the first little bit of this and read this little piece on compassion, or of compassion, I don't know. So if you would take a moment and get yourself settled in as comfy a way as you can here. So as you take time again to find this inner focus, this place of renewal and rejuvenation, we'll give ourselves a little compassion. Compassion where Saturn brings life force. Man, she's not afraid to die. There is nothing you cannot tell her. Compassion speaks with a slight accent. She was a vulnerable child and a vulnerable, shy, alert to the pain in the eyes of her sturdier classmates. Ninth grade, she was befriended by courage. Courage lent compassion bright sweaters, explained the slang, and showed her how to play. In many ways, compassion is still the stranger. Neither wonderful nor terrible, herself The music has ended. Take your time to bring this experience to a close. And when you're ready, you can maybe join us back here. How was that music? Did you hear it? Okay.
So I would be this is the last class. It seems like it's easy to focus on. It's only a couple of instruments. No, it's not like a big orchestra or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, kind of simple in some way. Oh yeah? Did you? Okay. Yeah.
Water. You might something like water. The lady.
Uh-huh. Mm. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, yeah. Any other adventures you want to tell us about?
Well, I was dancing in that music. It reminded me of, there was a group out about 13, 14 years ago. It was called New Age music. It was What Something. I can't remember the name of it. Absolutely beautiful music. That I had about 4 or 5 of those CDs, and I used to dance to it in my living room, just for the sake of expressing the music, almost pretending I knew ballet or whatever. But haven't done that in a long, long time. And I need to do more of it.
Oh, nice. Maybe so.
I see the waves of the ocean. So beautiful. First of all, wind was spraying, and then the waves was.
Oh, yeah. So I wanted to try a little different way. We've been listening, and then I've invited you to share something from your experience. So I'm imagining that maybe we could listen again maybe to another piece, and then I would put some art materials back on the tables. And if you were so moved after we listened to this next music, maybe I won't say much, but maybe I'll say the music is ended. But then if you want to go draw or doodle or write or whatever, I'll have some stuff over there, and you can do that if you want. And then maybe we'll have an image to ponder and words. So I'll set that up so we'll have a pause. And I have I've drawn little circles on these papers. Oh, and you don't have to use the circle if you don't want to, but the circle is kind of a nice focal point. It's a nice place to start. Sometimes a blank piece of paper can be a little more intimidating for whatever reason. So if you start with a circle, it makes it easier somehow. So I'm going to put these over there. If you wanted to lend a hand, sure. Oh yes. Oh. Well, I was just going to do this. If you want to set out some of these things, there's some pastels and some markers and some colored pencils, just in case someone wants a different kind of toy or media. Maybe we'll put on a couple tables here.
These were not really necessary.
I had just backup stuff. Any maybe questions or comments or good jokes? Yeah, I don't know if there's hundreds. There's a lot of music that we use, and it's kind of expanding. The woman I mentioned, Helen, who invented kind of concocted this way of listening, she came up with about 12 or so of these, what she called programs. So these groupings of pieces, usually 4 or 5 pieces at a time. We're listening to little single movements, but But in a traditional guided imagery music, a Bonny method session, we would listen to several pieces together. But more and more people, it's really growing outside in Europe, especially, and Korea, and some other countries. And so it's people are adding stuff. There's a wonderful program that's all Scandinavian music. So and then I have a friend from Hong Kong who is making music with Chinese influence. So the music that we're using in this work is expanding as really internationally. No. This music is all music that someone else composed for whatever reason. So the first piece was Puccini, so that's from an opera, not a butterfly. And then that next piece was Shostakovich, Russian composer, second. That's the slow movement from the second piano concerto. It may have been. It sounds like movie music, doesn't it? Yeah, I can read the specifics. Piano Concerto Number 2. That's the Andante. Shostakovich, one of the Russian composers that survived the revolution and pestered the government for years, back and forth. And that particular recording is Michael Houston playing the piano. Houston? Houston. But you can probably find multiple recordings of that piece. Do you? Yeah. Maybe and a little bit. I want to try other thing first. Any other thoughts, questions? So again, we'll listen to another piece, something kind of short, and then if you want, after we finish, you could step over there and do yourself a little drawing, a little keepsake from the evening, if you want. Thanks for joining us. Let's see if I can get you. Oh, yes. Oh. And maybe for this final little bit of music listening, I would invite you to kind of come up with maybe a word or a picture or something that is helpful for you. We talked about rejuvenation and renewal. So a thought, a phrase, or a color, or something in mind. You don't have to tell us what it is, but I'm going to invite you to use that as the beginning point of our next adventure here. So again, after you get something in mind, this symbol of renewal and rejuvenation, you may want to kind of get yourself settled in and as comfortable as you can in our seats, and we'll listen to some more music. So once again, as we kind of tune in to our inner experience, and as you kind of imagine in your mind's eye this symbol or this image of renewal or rejuvenation for yourself, so as you're kind of pulling this image, this word, this phrase of renewal and rejuvenation into mind and into heart, kind of be with that thing that you've selected, this image of renewal and rejuvenation. Notice its facets and its colors, its edges, its impact on you. And as this music begins, take your image with you, this image of renewal and rejuvenation. music has ended. Take some time to bring this experience to a close. And if you want to try your hand a little art, you can. If nothing else, I think just trying to savor or hold on to whatever thing came to you in that music, that's probably the best thing to do. Any mellow the cello. That's cello.
What is the piece of music?
That's Haydn. I think there are two concertos. I don't know which one that is. Yes, it's Baroque. That's the first concerto in C. There's a C major and a D major. That's the C major, and that's the Adagio. The Haydn. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts about anything? I guess for me, but I guess anything's kind of broad. I definitely thank you for letting me share some time with you and a meal. So I guess we can be finished. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.